anything you didn't want me to say? And you said no. And now I should have known what to address it
I've
about
never
before the
thought about
interview
it
started.
critically until this moment.
You know what? That's what we do here. We get people to think critically in a casual setting. So we're already achieving our goal for the night. All right, ATM. Tell us in the most basic sense who you are and what you do while I pin up some of your work to the top.
All right. I'm Dylan. I go by ATM. I really do a lot of shit, and I strive to do more. Um, of course, I'm a visual artist. I work in digital mixed media. I've been playing with, machine learning for the last couple months as well. I'm a creative director, executive producer, director, um, graphic designer, really just whatever I get my hands on. I have a mocap suit in my office, so I'm about to get into 3D. I just do whatever I can.
Hell yeah. And I think from anyone who goes through your work, it's pretty evident you don't just stick to one specific thing or one particular style.
Yeah, I
So,
try. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say. So with that in mind, do you feel that there are certain things that are indicative of your style, or something that makes it an ATM piece?
Um, that's a good question because so recently I decided I was just gonna do whatever came to mind, like whatever weird shit I thought. I think very literally whenever I'm constructing an art piece, it's usually like I think when people think of my work, it's cinematic. It's like cinematic visual art because I'm thinking of it like a scene, like I'm thinking of it like framing a camera. Um, but other than that, I know for the icon universe, people are looking for that red and black, that glowing circle, the white swords and staffs. But I feel like people just have they can tell my essence at this point. I can't even put my finger on it. I just do.
All right. Well, that's so. It seems like there's sort of like a loose set of things that people can look to sort of see, like, I guess, where your style is and where it might be going. Do you feel that there was any sort of, like, I guess, starting point for the art that you have been making that is the main body of your work? Like, do you feel like there was a time when this started to take distinct shape?
Yeah, it was when I married everything that I'd learned visually up to that point. So I was a traditional artist as I was growing up, a lot of charcoal and graphite because I was drawing on paper. That was just what I was familiar with. I did a lot of realism, a lot of studies in high school and whatnot, and that kind of translated into digital art. But I was going for like a colorful kind of pop surrealist vibe, and when I got the first foundation green light in 2021, um, I took what I learned, with visual art, and then I applied it to what I'd been learning the last couple of years in graphic design. So that's texture work, composition, and whatnot, and it all came together in this glorious digital fusion mixed media piece called "I Wash My Hands, I Say My Grace." And from that point on, I knew exactly what I was going to be doing forever.
That's awesome. So it was sort of there definitely was like a moment that you can look back to and be like, oh yeah, this is clicking right now. This is like what I want to do.
Yeah, it was it was yeah, it was that moment. I can't even really explain it.
Oh, I mean, it's just divine timing. Like,
Yeah.
I think that there's a lot of that involved in a lot of creators' careers along the way. It's not really anything that you specifically sought out to do, but once it happened, it was unmissable.
Well, even on top of that, I didn't really do art for myself for long, probably my whole life. It was all like schoolwork, classwork, design work, commissions, And I think in those moments, like in the first couple months of this space, I was finding my voice, and that moment was just like, boom, okay, I've got it. Now I can build from here, and I have.
So you mentioned that it started as classwork. Did you happen to do any artwork in and outside of art up until you started like really getting into, like, you said that I guess it started as classwork, but did it ever have any outside inspiration from you, or is it something that sort of
Yeah,
built up gradually?
yeah, it was. I mean, I feel like I echo this with most artists. Like I've been an artist for almost all my life. Like the first I remember very vividly me falling in love with art. I was probably like 6 or 7 years old, and my first grade art teacher like showed me the light, like what the art process is and what it really means to be an artist. And it was literally one sentence. It was just I would like look at the world around you, like think about it, and then put it to the paper. Um, but from that moment on, like I was trying to do my own comic books. I was destroying my homework with random drawings. I was freaking out my mom. I was drawing like syringes on paper, um, and all that kind of evolved. But the thing is, I never sat down. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do a painting, or oh, I'm gonna do a drawing. I don't have, from those times. I don't really have any work per se, and a lot of it
Sure.
also burned down recently. So.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that.
No, no, it's all good. I'm all about fresh beginnings.
I I definitely feel that sentiment, but it's always tough when you lose artwork, or obviously like things that you can't really go back and find. But I am a big fan of a fresh start, regardless. Um, so you had also mentioned that the artwork that you had been creating was more so for other people, and when it transitioned from classwork to work for other people outside of the classroom, what was that like for you?
Um, I think it all like it started off with really good intentions. Like I was working with my homies, and we were doing like collective work, and I was basically creating brand identities, and it was fun, and it was I got that reassurance from my peers that I was a talented designer, and like I really could do this. And then from that point on, it was helping out whoever I could in the city. But over time it wears on you. Like commissions suck ass, and I'm gonna be completely honest with that. They suck. But
Yeah, oh, I wasn't sure if that was the end of your sentence, but you rugged a little bit.
oh,
Oh,
my bad, my bad.
okay. So yeah, that was actually going to lead me into my next question, which was talking about like the process, or your relationship rather, with the process of working for other people, and how you view it at this point.
um it's a give and take. You have to, because the person who, if I was to ever do a commission, has to be somebody who has, one, a good vision of what they want, and two, that vision aligns with where my head's already going, and three, like giving me at least some semblance of creative freedom to interpret what I'm given. Like a lot of the work I was doing was like album covers and poster covers and whatnot. And my requirement was always send me the files, because I have to hear this. I have to figure out where you're coming from, and then we can kind of discuss what we can make from that. But for most of the commissions I had, they were good. Like they were understanding. I got what I needed. They got what they needed. But I've had, as most have, horrible commission experiences.
Yeah, I, I think it's almost unavoidable when you do freelance, or any type of work for other people, to end up with some negative experiences, especially if you work independently. Would you be able to indulge us a little bit in one of the worst experiences that you've had?
Okay.
Because man, I've been there. I've had some awful clients hit me up, and I've worked for them and just truly had an awful experience. So I'm always curious to hear about what other artists have been through.
So there was probably like maybe 3 4 years ago. Um, this guy hit me up and he said, "Yo, I want to do this album cover. I want it to be me on like a beach, and I'm drawing SOS in the sand, and like wanted to palm trees and coconuts." I'm like, dude, how the fuck am I gonna do that? Like, let's be real. Like, be real. There's no way I'm gonna do this. I need references. I need all that kind of shit. And he was offering me not even $100.
Oh my god.
Not even $100. Um and then another one, like someone asked me to make a logo for their business, but it has something to do with penguins. Like, have you ever? Do I look like I draw penguins? It doesn't make any sense.
No, I would not have suggested asking you for penguins if someone had asked me who would draw
Yeah,
penguins for them.
yeah. People see like artist, designer, and they think, oh, they can. Like, not everybody's meant to do every job.
Dude, I've had people run up on me and offer to pay me $5 for design work. I will not even look at what you want me to design for $5. That was a rough one.
Yeah, it's the yeah. They people don't understand how much time, work, and effort goes into this. Like for the last 3 days straight, I've been building my website, and it has been an entire process. I had to create a logo, like do the whole treatment, get all the layouts right, and all that. Like shit takes time.
Right. I mean, everything takes time. I think that's one of the things that people do not understand first and foremost about art and quality art at that, especially with the advancement of digital technology and AI now. Especially, people are like, "Can I get this in 5 minutes?" No, no, you can't. I need to actually take the time to make sure that you're getting something that I feel good about. I think that this brings me to another very obvious talking point is like what do you think is just a giant misconception that people have about the art world aside from what we just mentioned?
Hmm. I think artists and consumers of art have a miss. They kind of misrepresent time, like how much time things take. In that, like, I can ask an artist to go do something, and it might only take them 2 hours to do, but it didn't take them 2 hours. It took them, you know, 15,000 hours or however many. And the
Sure.
same can go for artists as well. Um, a lot of artists, like, I've seen a lot of people butthurt about like AI artists and whatnot because they'll sit down and spend 30 hours on a painting, and they misconstrue like effort and time with quality. And you can
Sure.
spend 30 hours on something and it can be absolute garbage.
Yeah.
Uh, so I think just recognizing that like art is really just taste and execution, um, as something that everybody would benefit from.
No, that's true. I think no matter what, like once an artist achieves a certain degree of notoriety for themselves, all of the equations just become whatever they decide is appropriate for themselves. Sometimes that can be more than what people expected. That sometimes it'll be less than what people expected. But it's like once you have that comfortability to sort of establish yourself, you basically decide like even if something takes you 15-20 minutes to make it, if it's really poignant and it's something that someone's going to use for a long time, it might have a higher price point than something that takes you a handful of hours or even days. It's just everyone has their own natural strong suit, and I think that they all play differently into how things end up getting priced or calculated for time. And we see so many different approaches to just art in general these days. What do you feel about AI in general? Like, do you feel that like I personally think this is one of the biggest creative revolutions, if not the biggest creative revolution we've ever experienced? And I'm just curious what other artists think about that as well.
Me personally, I love it. I love it. I use it every I use it every day. I use it for everything. Um, the honestly, like at this point, my generations are at like almost language level. Uh, it's really cool, like getting down to the not just like, oh, I can dream up anything, but like really getting down and building your own like neural network to think alongside you is very powerful. It speeds up content production, um, and you can use it at any capacity that you want to. Um, and it's not just visual shit too. Like
Yeah.
there's you know assistant AI networks. There's like video shit too. Like it's not gonna stop. Like it's just
No.
gonna make people who are creative like more powerful.
That's what I tell everyone. I've told anyone who says that like AI is the end of art as we know it is like the biggest naysayer and like an incredibly fragile person, because it's like if you're a really creative person, you're just like, wow, this is going to be a tool that is going to help me create so much more in the future. Like I feel nothing but excited. Like sure, there's always the, are we doing too much with technology? Yes. The answer to that one, blanket statement, yes. Like we've but we're already way past that point. So like we might as well just try to utilize the pieces that are most beneficial to us to our best advantage before before we have an entirely sentient group of robots out here. But
I think I think specifically on GANs, like um, like the way that they work is pattern recognition,
right.
and if you really boil down what an artist is, it's the result of recognizing patterns over and over again, right? The patterns in their life, the patterns in the art that they consume, the music that
Right.
they listen to, all that. Um, and so the closer you get to communicating to another neural network, your patterns, like you can just keep creating with your voice
Right.
faster than you could with your hands.
No, I mean, if I had the opportunity right now to scan every drawing I've ever made and put it in one database, so that way it could just like I could put my own prompts in of just my own work to see what a neural network would create, I would do that in a heartbeat. I would love to have something that recognizes all my patterns and like knows what I would be doing. It would be such a beneficial tool to essentially know thyself digitally at such an intimate level that you can recreate your style in minutes and then refine it through either your own execution, other programs, Stable Diffusion, Topaz Studio, any of these things that just create beautiful works of art in just a fraction of the time it normally costs.
Yeah, we're living in a time for sure.
Yeah,
But you know, I we can talk about how great or how great AI is, how great tech is, but a lot of MFs is going out of business. A lot of folks going out of business.
it's true. It's true. But in that sense, what would you feel is something that you're able to harness yourself in working with AI that sets you apart? Because clearly you're not going out of business. I don't think you're going out of business anytime soon. So, what are some of your own personal takes on what AI represents to you and how you're able to use it for yourself?
I use it for like composition, ideation. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just if I have an idea for a piece, I'll just drum it up and tell them like that's sick, and then I'll take that and then work on it in the shop. Um, yeah, just visual, because if you in my previous process, when creating was always like, okay, this is what I want, and then I'd have to do like crazy search and practice and whatnot to like get it how I want it. But now I can kind of, oh, that's a cool comp. Oh, that's a cool comp. I'm gonna work off this. In minutes, literally in minutes, and yeah, just it makes me so much more productive.
So, with all these tools that enhance your productivity, do you feel that you're able to focus more on important things like storytelling, messaging, and I guess your own artistic craft?
Yeah, I mean, without AI, you know. not I can ramp up. Of course, I can ramp up my art production, but it's also freed up time to lead people through the universe, through Middle America, and do whatever, whether it's like uncovering history or fighting off against vandals and angels and demons and whatnot. And then all of it will be recorded on chain as well. And there's some other stuff that go along with it. But yeah, that's the core of why I'm building that tabletop game.
Dude, that is awesome. I think that having that sort of like physical thing that you can include or